So, we're under a sort of lockdown because of the fake rain situation. The roads are all landslided at particular vital points on the highways and all of that. So, yeah. So I have to be doing a lot of these recordings from home. So yesterday, no, was it day before yesterday? I was watching Timotheus, Timotheus, Timotheus Yantos, the Timotheus Yantos show, right? I didn't see the time right. I don't know. I went like I entered it like 1 hour late or something. Anyhow, I reached in time for Timotheus's presentation of my conversations with Demon B. And when he was doing it, by the way, I find it so funny. He imitates my voice like such a nice person. Like, um, so I understand. And is that so? And then he imitates Demon B like, yes, my dear. It's so funny, but it's so good. I wrote that book, and I wrote that book, right, and I don't even know, like, I don't know, like, I mean, I wrote it, but I wrote it like, in my moods. I just, and here's what I want to say. Why I started making this thing, right? So I was thinking about, how people see spiritual life, as like a person sitting calmly in the presence of God, or in the presence of a spiritual being. Whereas I don't know about others, but I'm telling you about me, right? Like, my spiritual life, it's basically been a long series of tantrums that I started throwing with God, because I didn't have anybody, like, in real life, any human that I could trust, to show my feelings and my frustrations and all of that. And more than all of that, to be angry with. And I have just been realizing how anger is such a high form of intimacy. Seriously, like, I don't want to intellectualize it, okay? I just saw some stuff online, and I'm like, wow, wow, wow. So I'm going to throw up the intellectual superiority of it all. Is wow, this is not spiritual. Anyhow, I don't like it, okay? I don't have that much brain power and all that. But what I'm trying to say, right, is that, listen, anger, you only be angry with somebody, right, who you know loves you. Period. Anger is, I'm not talking about like anger, the kind of anger that's divine anger at bastards and bitches that do evil shit to you. I'm talking about your angst at life itself. I'm talking about, your inner raging because you're hurting. And I've just been thinking about how my entire spiritual life is basically comes down to me just tantruming with God from when I was little, that I wanted that, but I got this, and I'm feeling like this, and you know what I mean? That's what it's been. And watching Timotheus Yantos, how he was showing this beautiful conversation between me and Demon B. Um, and little did he know that in the reality, there were so many noises I was making. I was so frustrated, so upset, so angry. Um, I tried to write a follow up, right, to Conversations with Demon Balthazar, and I have written it. And the whole thing is me fighting and arguing with Demon B. First, because he said that my granddad is not coming back. Um, he has his viewpoint, right, but it turned out that I have not at all processed my granddad's leaving. Literally, I haven't. My grief is so deep that 20 years on, I have not been able to cry still, because granddad has moved on. And I thought I'm very intellectual, that's why I'm not crying, but speaking with B, I realized, um, I'm just a little girl whose granddad left, and I'm in such numb horror and shock that he would leave me in this hell. And I know all that stuff, that he's in spirit and all of that. I know all of that, right? But nothing can replace nothing can replace his eyes looking at me. Nothing can replace, no memory can replace that somebody was mine, that he considered me his. Is so precious, because in this world everybody rates you by how good you make them feel. They rate you by how much you help them. But it's only very few people, right, whose heart you're an extension of. And it's very rare to come across that. um I don't know. um I mean, what can I say, right? I'm just telling you the truth. And I want to say that, you know you can get a lot of wisdom in this world, to understand horrible things that happen to you and see it from a good point of view and everything. But I think that really the great treasures of life, right, are that you were so close to somebody and so confident in their love that you could tell them your anger, that you could you could just show them all those things that the world demeans you for. Like, if you don't know how to do something right, people look down on you, like I have a lot of trouble crossing roads. I've always crossing roads in India, because of the traffic. Even though I grew up, because I've been pretty isolated most of my life, right? I'm not very smart. I'm not very street smart. I get cheated often, and despite everything, and I find it very hard to this day. Like, I find it, I can go 30 minutes on the side of a road trying to cross. And eventually, right, a lot of people look at me like, what is wrong with you? You're a grown adult woman, and that too, I have a son. But people look down on you, if you don't know how to do stuff. And then, um, you like, what I'm saying is that it's such a thing that if you have somebody in your life, right, with who you can show your anger, that's and throw your tantrums, and what do you call, like, there's no question of them loving you or not loving you, because of that. And you know what? This can never ever be actually uh, acted out by somebody. It's something God creates. That's simple. I've been with hostage holders, right, who had to pretend that they loved me. Like, the fake family and all that. And they could never do this. My whole life I had to walk on eggshells around them because they never loved me enough and I was never secure enough. And the few times my anger got out, right, I would be punished very badly for it. They used to get threatened by my anger. And it's only somebody that loves you so much that wouldn't get threatened by your pain, who would look past your anger at your pain and feel your pain and love you, even though You're like, you might be throwing things at them. I've not done it physically, by the way, but who would see your pain, who would see your pain and feel your pain, not even see but feel it. How many people do you have in your life, you know, who would cry with relief if your pain were relieved? Who would really feel it? How many? You can't make that. You can't imagine it. You cannot spin this shit. It's so painful. You can't spin it. Why would anyone do that? And I just want to say that ultimately this is spiritual life. This is the life of the soul. That you're so close to somebody that you can vent. That you can vent. You can make noises and all of that. And they still love you. They don't they don't demote you. Every day, right, this Duolingo app that I'm learning Italian on, like every day, if I don't do like 3 or 4 lessons a day, right, sometimes I can't, okay, they send me messages, you have been demoted. I'm getting so pissed off. This is so wrong, you do like 6 lessons on one day. They'll be like, Kara, you entered the Ruby League. Click here for 75 into 3x something blah blah blah, gems and everything, and then they'll show you a treasure chest. You click on it and it will burst out gold coins and says, you have now entered the Emerald League. This is right if I do 6 lessons. And like the next day, if I'm not feeling well or whatever, right, whatever's happening, I'm busy, then if I do one lesson, they're like, you have been demoted. Because you see what I mean? This is thug world for you, and this is thugs, and this is heartless, soulless. This is how the heartless and the soulless function. They just want you to keep up your performance, and that will just never, just that will just never. That's never love. You know what I mean? And you know what? They spin that we got a connection because we've been doing this shit a long time. That is thug world for you. They're like, if you've been getting upgraded, what do you call, how do you, promoted, if you've been getting promoted to the Ruby League and then demoted, by the way, Obsidian, by I'm in the Obsidian League. It is the bottommost. They're scared to put me out of the Obsidian League because I might unsubscribe. I feel so bad because Obsidian is my favorite. I love Obsidian. Anyhow, here, what I'm trying to say is, in Thug World, right, everything is like performance. And if you do very well yesterday and like today you're not up to it or whatever, they're like, you're demoted. Okay, and then this shit goes on, and then they'll be like, 300-day streak, Kara, you really got it. You know what I mean? It's also performance related. This is how it is with them in everything. And imagine in the middle of all this shit, imagine somebody just, you can tell them all your crap and be stupid and everything, and they still love you. And if you hurt, they hurt. Wow. That is life. That is achievement, according to me. And to think that as humans, the truth is, right, everybody that we love is, they are still alive because souls don't die. We're living in so much, spiritual luxury, and they try to make us feel like, we're less or whatever. No, I think that I think that we should be so proud and so happy.